Am I the asshole for asking for a morning off from my baby on the weekends? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. She's mostly a stay-at-home mom. She works 2.5 days a week and her sister watches the baby. I work full-time and go to school 1 day a week. We've always had an arrangement where she takes care of the household duties, cooking, cleaning, and now baby care, while I happily support her monetarily. Honestly, we are both living our dream life, and my wife does an absolutely spectacular job taking care of me and our little one. On the weekends, we share baby duty. We usually make sure each of us gets our own alone time to do whatever we want. However, our girl has hit a bit of a sleep regression, waking up every 2 hours. And since my wife breastfeeds, she always takes care of the baby full-time overnight. She's a light sleeper and unfortunately has insomnia, whereas I am a deep sleeper and wouldn't wake up for the baby crying anyways. Recently, my wife has been asking me to wake up with the baby both days on the weekends so she can get an extra hour of sleep. Baby wakes up around 7 a.m., I get the baby dressed and take over for that hour. But sometimes I want to be the one that gets to sleep in an extra hour. I brought this up to her and she says while she's happy to let me nap during the day, she really needs that hour because she can't nap like I can. We got into an argument about it and she said I'm being very insensitive when I know she is very exhausted and can't nap during the day, and she struggles going back to sleep every time the baby wakes up. But I'm exhausted too. Work wears me out and school days are long, and I sometimes want that hour in the morning. I don't want to spend my off time napping. I want to play video games and chill out. I've gotten mixed opinions on who is in the wrong here or if there even is anyone in the wrong. Am I the asshole for asking us to share mornings off for sleep?
I would say, to be fair, if you both find it difficult and this is becoming a real problem, take turns. Rotate your weeks. Odd weekends, second and fourth weekend is you, and the one, third and fifth weekend, if there's a fifth, is her, or vice versa. You guys need to be able to share this thing totally. And I understand. Look, she's up every morning dealing with this thing 5 days a week. For my first gut feeling was, do it on the weekends. Suck it up, dude. Do it.
So you talk about sharing the burden. How are they going to share the burden if she's waking up every 2 hours at night because the baby needs to breastfeed?
I can't. I'm trying to wonder why she's not pumping and letting him wake up and do it.
Some people can't pump. Some people don't produce enough while pumping.
Because I know when it came to you, we had pump milk, and it was easy. I mean, I had no problem at all. In fact, I used to love waking up in the night and taking care of you at night when you would cry. I was the first one out to your room to go change you when you were wet, and I was the first one to tend to you. I was so excited about being this new dad. I don't know what his gig is. And I worked, and I definitely worked. I would get up in the morning. I was at work at 6 a.m. I had a factory. I had people, but I was always on it for you, and I never complained about it because I loved it. So that's my first thing is suck it up, dude. Go help your wife. But if in the event that there has to be some kind of compromise, every other weekend.
I think that's kind of the thing too with kids is you know what you're getting into. You know what's about to happen. You know from at least now that we're at the age that we are, all the conversations we have with people who just had kids or they're 2, 3, 4, they've gone through it all. They're like, yeah, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
I was about to say, until
I'm
you
just
have
saying,
it.
I know, but we know through, like, you have this level of expectation and it's here and it's going to be here.
That's
and
right.
The level of exhaustion, like you just can't prepare for it. But at least I know from the people I've talked to, I know what's about to happen. So I enjoy my sleep a lot right now. I'm just taking every minute I can get. And I realize that when
it happens,
kids come, it gets very challenging and you both get down to your wit's end because you're exhausted, still trying to make money, still trying to do the thing, still trying to do regular daily life things. And then you have this whole added element to it. And so I just like, I know what it's like to get that exhausted, but I just mentally, when I hear cries in the middle of the night, whenever this is going on, I'm just going to know like, okay, this is either my turn or I'm going to do it, or whatever we have that's fair and agreed upon in a partnership and being a team. I'm just going to wake up, do what I have to do, and like do it. And I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to make a big argument out of it. And I feel like you and I naturally will fall into a better rhythm than this, in the sense that we usually like we'll start a project and we'll both find our roles and we'll knock it out, and we get really good at doing so. So I'm just thinking when it comes to this, we'll have our like plan, strategy, whatever you want to call it, and we'll just both be taking one for the team and doing it and like doing what you got to do. Because this also, at the same time, while you're going through it, probably feels like forever, but it isn't, right? It's temporary to an extent.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, from me mentally, I think here, I don't think we'd end up here, but in this situation, if we were at such disarray, I think you just got to sit down and figure out like, okay, what is fair? How, based on what we both have to do each day and what we both have to, like what our obligations are, what can we feasibly do and what makes sense for both parties to compromise and both be as happy as we can be. Because
So
we're
with
not
this
both going to be
one-
100%.
With this one, what do you think? Do you think he should get up with the baby, or
Of
do you think he
course.
should be able to sleep in?
I just think whatever compromise makes the most sense. So if someone's getting up every day of the week, then
Her.
you should take the whole weekend. Like the whole weekend.
It's her.
And if she's the one that has problems napping,
She can't nap.
yeah, so
She
I
deals
can't
with
either.
insomnia.
So I would be the one who more would be like, if I can consistently sleep longer, I will take more of the responsibility on all around,
And that's what
except
she's
for
saying.
the consistent. You're really good at waking up and going back to sleep, or just napping during the day. And so I feel like we'd find that balance.
So with this one, I think he's the biggest asshole. I think he sucks. I'm going to be honest. I look at what she's doing. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she's working 2.5 days a week. And then her sister watches the baby during that time. And yes, he is working full-time and goes to school 1 day a week. But I look at it, if she's a stay-at-home mom, as we've talked about, stay-at-home parents do a lot. She's working around the clock. There's no off button for her. So she's not only breastfeeding, but she's also going to work. And then because of this sleep regression, the baby's waking up every 2 hours. So she's not getting a full night of sleep, and she's dealing with insomnia. And so I think you said it well. If one person is getting up throughout the week or with the baby all the time, then the other person should pick up the slack on the weekend. He is only missing a total of 2 hours of sleep.
And wait a minute, there's even more that pisses me off.
Okay.
What is the one thing that I hear in all our stories that really makes me crazy? And no one's ever asked me this with any of our shows.
What?
Gaming. I want to do my gaming. Fucker, you are a dad. You're a dad. You got your baby. This is little you. It's a mini me. And you're trying to develop this child and give it love and to have the relationship that look at the relationship I get to have with my daughter. Look, it's the best fucking thing in the world. We got this because I got up in the morning, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it was, and fed her, changed her. We have that bond. We were able to have experiences of where's the baby and have her bounce around, or she'd cry and she wouldn't stop crying. At 2 in the morning, I would say, well, I guess we're going to go find a train. We would go out. Swear to God.
He's not invested like that, though. He wants to play his video games and chill out.
I'm getting the patriarchal vibes too, based on, I feel like there's a lot of men out there that just inherently think, oh, well, that's kind of her job.
There's a lot of women, too, that think that way, unfortunately. I think there's people,
but that's what I'm saying. I'm getting that vibe because
Yeah.
that's so ingrained in the subconscious of our society.
I
where
agree.
you still like, I feel like I grew up watching TV shows and movies where that shit would happen.
Yeah.
It's been played into.
Oh, there's definitely
So it's
see
just
that.
like, I feel like
Doesn't make it
there's
right.
guys that grow
No.
up that are not exposed to the real world and don't really know right from wrong in a sense, and just expect like, yep, I get my time. I go to work every day. You're here with the kid. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's like, unfortunately, still so hard to unwrap in
It is.
modern times.
Yeah, absolutely.
This morning I went to work. As you're aware, I left early. I met a guy. He shows up and he has his 3-year-old son with him. JD.
Yeah.
Probably Jason Jr., but JD. And he was, going around and looking at stuff. And, the dad realized this is my time with the weekend. I got to be with my son. And he brought him with him. And I thought, this was great.
Yeah.
It was
You can
great.
find a balance. You can find you can still do what you love. Maybe it's not video games, but you can still find something that feels like a break to you and do it with your kid, obviously at a certain age. But
I think he could still do the video games. Like, it's not like he's losing 4 hours of his day. He's only having to get up 1 hour earlier. He's taking a small bit of burden off his wife, who has the night duty because he doesn't wake up to the baby crying. And she's getting up every 2 hours for feeding.
no, see,
When is she sleeping?
here's the thing. I feel like I'm more of the light sleeper, so I keep my alarm like on the ringer. I can turn it all the way down, and the first I'll wake up. Like, I'm up instantly.
Perfect.
You know
So
me.
you'll get up when the baby's crying.
Well, but here's the thing. I think we are both relatively light sleepers.
yeah.
But if one of us wasn't, I feel like if we had, like, obviously there's special cases, right? You come home after like having a horrible, like, long week or something, and it's like, I got it tonight.
Yeah.
You take the full night to rest. If you hear them and I don't, wake me up. I'll go do it. You go back to sleep. Like, you compromise and figure it out. But you can always wake the other person up. If he's sleeping through it, but you agree to be more of a team, then just like, you wake up, oh, she's crying.
Yeah. No.
Your turn.
If this
Go.
goes on, I'm also really upset where she's coming to him and she's literally asking him and saying,
I need help.
she does. I want to get the exact words that he says. I brought this up to her and she says, while she's happy to let me nap during the day, she really needs that hour because she can't nap like I can. She said, I'm being insensitive when I know she is very exhausted and can't nap during the day. And she struggles to go back to sleep every time the baby wakes up. She's begging you for help. She's begging you for just an hour on Saturday and Sunday, 2 hours every week. And she's doing all the night feedings. I'm sorry. Get your ass up.
Dude, be a dad.
And if I were her, and if I were in this situation,
Shock collar.
you might as well, but I would make sure that if I'm up, you're getting up. I would start showing him, you can't sleep?
The button.
Let me show you what it's like to not sleep. Let me give you a dose. You haven't done any nighttime feedings. You've gotten off the hook. So guess what? That stops now. The buck stops here, baby. And every time I'm awake with the baby, you're going to be awake with the baby until you see what it's really like to be in my shoes. And then when you realize that all I was asking for was 2 extra hours and you agree, then you can go back to sleeping a sound, peaceful 8 hours at night. But until then, fuck you.
Why are we so needy as little babies? Why?
Because
Why?
just little balls
There's
of
other
mush.
species that break out and they're like, they're like
Guys.
finding food. They're like, damn.
guys, I say, when you get on this
Why?
train,
This one made me so mad.
when you get on the train, my friend, enjoy the ride because it's a short ride. It really is.
I know, you're making me excited to get up in the middle of the night.
It-
you really
it-
are.
It's a short ride.
No, him.
Oh,
I will honestly tell you, it was some of my favorite times. I
Something peaceful about the middle of the night.
used to carry.
There is,
I
yeah.
used to carry. I used to sing to you.
when don't you sing? You're a good little singer.
And I mean,
Give the people
I
a
don't
little
think I hear
sample.
you sing much.
Give 'em a little sample.
Not right this second, but we will. But I will say that
Jerry's debut single coming.
I'm letting all you male listeners know it is what you make of it. And take it with all the blessings that you get with it and enjoy the ride because It is so short.
Well, when you look back at it, it feels short. But when you're going through it, does it feel like this endless
Yeah.
tunnel?
There's some.
Yeah.
Well, there's sometimes
Ask Matt and Amy. Their kids did not
that's
sleep.
what I'm saying.
It is what you make it. I mean, there's times you feel it's telling it. Look, Morgan would cry.
I was a
and-
super colicky baby too. I was a hot mess.
And I found there was 2 secrets to make her stop crying.
Trains.
Trains was one of it. The other one was the vacuum.
Yeah, they
And it wasn't putting the vacuum on her nose. It was just listening to the white noise of a vacuum would knock her out.
Why didn't you guys try a fan?
That didn't work.
Yeah, so my parents would just like set up a vacuum, let the vacuum cleaner run. They went through a lot of vacuum cleaner belts.
Listen, you could then get some cleaning done in the middle of the
They
night.
did. Her mom did.
And then you wouldn't have to do as much the next day. And so if you're a napper, you can nap when you were going to clean.
Her mom loved to vacuum. And she
still does.
Yeah, she really still
She was
does.
busy doing this. And if that didn't work, I got the tap. Let's go find a train. And I would drive
is
around
so
Hermantown.
crazy.
I would drive to Proctor or Hermantown to go look for the trains.
But then
for the iron ore trains.
But then she'd be out all night after? Like
Yeah.
it'd be done? Deal?
Done deal. I would take her back. She would be literally in a coma by the time the third car went by, and she was totally content. And then I would carry her in the house, put her back to sleep, and she would sleep through the night.
Maybe on the nights you can't fall asleep here, you should just start putting train videos on.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what it was.
It was amazing.
Was it the low rumble or the loud ass horn?
She was just,
Probably.
I think she was amazed by them. She just watched them and then she would just be out. Do you remember any of that or you do not?
No, I don't remember that.
None of it.
No. Moving along from
Okay.
this one.
Anyways, wake up, dude. End of story.
Yeah. Not fair, but I mean, there's a lot of these people you might want to shake.
It's just tough because I don't know how you go from, how do you break through to someone to have that realization that they want to be a teammate?
This is why I think if you have the ability to have children and you want children, be very,
Make sure it's
very,
right.
very selective of who you're willing to have kids with.
Your partner.
Because
Think about
I think it is so pointless to have a partner and still be a single parent.
Right.
And a lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. There were some good comments on this one. So the top comment on this one was, you're the asshole. If she's taking all of the night duty because you don't wake up, then you get morning duty when you do wake up. So she can catch up on her lost sleep in the night. You want a morning off? Give her a night off.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some give and take because she can't do it all. And someone goes, I was so close to going no assholes here because new babies and sleep is hard. But then when we got to the video games,
Whoa, those triggers, those video games.
nope, you're the asshole, OP. You can't have both nights and mornings. And your video game time might just have to suffer for a while.
Yeah. We got a lot of life to play video games.
Yeah.
You got a lot, not as much life to spend this intimate time with your kids.
Yeah.
and
And a lot of people keep commenting that. If you, OP, did not want to make sacrifices personally, physically, financially, emotionally, and mentally, then you should not have had a child. I hope you get a grip on this and sort out your priorities so that this baby has a healthy 18 years of living with you.
Are there any replies? Because I could see this person just being like,
Defending.
nope, that's the woman's job.
We
like
do
that's what
have some comments.
All right, I'm
We
curious.
do.
This will show some personality.
So he responds back to these people?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments from OP.
Okay, good.
All right.
So I'm going to read them in the order of the soonest he responded, or the oldest he responded to
Good.
these people to the newest.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the asshole if it's too much, considering hiring someone to come in for a few hours so both of you can sleep in. I've asked her about that, and I think she has mom guilt about paying someone else to watch our baby every week. We aren't in a position to pay someone every single week anyhow, but once in a while would be nice. You're the asshole. You would rather play video games than help your exhausted wife?
Yeah, I like this. I like that writer.
Get an extra hour of sleep? Why do people marry people like you? My husband was constantly trying to take care of our kids so I could sleep, especially when I was up nursing every few hours. OP. Well, it's not like I never give her a break. She gets her alone time on the weekends as well. I just wanted to sleep in the way I was used to for one day. You're the asshole. You don't think she wants to just chill out and do something on her own time? She's working too, by not just going to work, but also taking care of the baby. The least you could do is give her some time to sleep in. She's right. You can nap and do whatever. She can't. And unless you're going to offer to take over the feeding through formula or bottles, the only time she gets a break is if the baby is sleeping or if she's off to work. Give up your extra hour of sleep. Give it to your wife who does so much. I do give her time to chill out. I can't take over night duty because I won't wake up for my girl's cries. My wife is always blown away that I can sleep through the night. I don't care. Don't get out of bed, lady.
You know,
kick him away.
Have you heard of this thing called artificial intelligence?
Yes,
it's
very
amazing.
Scary.
It's actually there's some triggers that these things can actually listen to. I'm sure there's going to be a device soon. I know you can put together on a Pi, but basically the baby will cry. A shock collar on the father. He'll wake up. I guarantee.
I don't think you need AI for that. I think that's probably pretty simple.
We have some growth here, though.
We do.
Growth.
We have some growth.
Wow.
So many comments. People are basically being like, she's only asking for an extra 2 hours a week. And they asked about his sleep schedule. And he's like, yes, I do get a full night's sleep on the weekends, but sometimes on the weekdays, I don't get a full 8 hours. I understand I'm in the wrong here, but it's not like I'm sleeping all the time. I do appreciate what she does. I take over to give her time for herself on the weekends. There's a lot of comments. There is a very, very good one where someone says, a big long-winded explanation, the sleep regression won't last forever, the breastfeeding will get better, blah, 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 blah. Help her out now, my friend. She has to breastfeed for a whole year. That whole year equals over 730 hours. Take one for the team during the next 2 months till the baby is eating more. Your wife will be grateful. And OP goes, thank you. This answer was very helpful and put a lot of things into perspective. To be honest, I never really thought of how many hours she has to give up to feed our girl. 1 hour seems pretty embarrassing to complain about compared to 730 hours. I am humbled.
See, sometimes with guys, you need to break it down to simple numbers. 731. And they're like, oh, that one's bigger than that one by a lot. And you're like,
God.
Seriously though, have you not encountered people like this?
Yeah, but don't you think your partner saying, I need help, like would be reason enough?
That works. That's enough to work.
God. we need to make pie charts for people.
I am just not surprised. It goes back to the flashcards from the live show. I am not surprised.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to put it in such stupid plain language for someone to be like, oh, I get it. And the other thing that doesn't surprise me is that it had to come from a comment on Reddit and not from her.
Yeah, it's sad.
That was another great one. Do you have any more good ones?
Yeah, I do. There's one last comment though, and It's the last one that OP responds to. And this person on Reddit goes, give her my contact info. I'll keep her happy. Shit ton of awards. And OP responds and goes, bro, crying emoji.
Yeah, it's a dude's dude. It's a guy's guy. You can tell.
Yeah, he's just a big idiot.
I feel like I know this person now.
Big idiot. Moving along.
I love that. This is a fun show.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a fun show.